This is the Edmonton Chevra Kadisha. We are 115 years old. We're going to show a few snapshots of what we do. We didn't start in Edmonton. The first Jewish colony was established at Pine Lake in 1890. This Jewish star is the only remnant left of the colony that was established in 1890. It is secured in the Unitarian Church, the Holy Trinity Church. They were very instrumental in assisting the Jews at that time, helping them make the transition to the land. The original Rabbi Blankstein, lived in a little synagogue/house on a lake, which is now called Blank Lake, named after Rabbi Blankstein. The only remnants left are the fire brick from the original fireplace in the synagogue. As well, we do have some unmarked graves that are out at the Pine Lake, originally called Ghost Pine Lake. The red flags will indicate burial sites of a half a dozen or more unfortunate Jews that perished at that time through the cold winters. Today, at our current cemetery, we can now afford to bury with dignity members of the Jewish community. We're on a constant battle trying to maintain the graves, ensuring that they remain upright and safe as people come to visit their loved ones. The work is ongoing, continuous. As you see, we're forever straightening up the stones. These are above ground mausoleums, however, there are people buried underneath. One of our mammoth projects was to repair the Olean headstone, which we're told is the largest headstone in any cemetery in the province of Alberta. The top portion was about 6,000 pounds, the bottom about 3,000 pounds. For this project, we had to bring in a 60-ton crane to remove the headstone so that we could prepare the ground below and reinforce with concrete to set back in an upright position to keep it safe from tipping over, which if you come to the cemetery, you can come and visit this stone. This was a mammoth project. We had to close the cemetery for the day for safety, and it was quite an ordeal to remove those stones and replace them. Some of the crew that worked on this. There's our 60-ton crane, and I think we got a blessing from our big boss up above. In order to facilitate digging in the older parts of the cemetery, traditionally you're not to walk on top of a grave, nor should you drive as well. We have developed a bridging system to bring in our mini excavator into the older part of the cemetery so that we can facilitate machine digging graves. This is a very arduous task, very complicated and difficult at times, especially in the winter months. With our new cemetery coming online, we won't have these issues because we will be making the rows quite a bit wider. But for now, we use the machine, and when we can't use the machine, we become a hand dig. As well, your Chevra Kadisha not only looks after your family, friends in our cemetery, we also look after religious materials that bear the name of God or Hashem, such as Sidurim, prayer books, other literature, in a special place located in the cemetery called a geniza. This cornerstone is part of a set of cornerstones that the Chevra Kadisha are holding at our current cemetery. They are from the old Talmud Torah School on 132nd Street, and they will be incorporated into the new cemetery into some future design. And now we have our current cenotaph that we will be using for Remembrance Day, that we have been since 1946 when it was unveiled. We were fortunate to come across this superb video from the estate of Mickey Dlin of blessed memory. We wholeheartedly thank him today for the foresight in taking these pictures back in, we believe, 1946, 1947. Sadly, many of the people in this picture are now in our care. But it was an amazing event at the time. As you can see, it would appear that pretty much the whole community had shown up. If you recognize any of these young gentlemen, we'd appreciate to let the Jewish Archives know who they would be. The Chevra Kadisha is proud to be able to sponsor the Remembrance Day service, which was started actually by Mr. Malcolm Wasserman many years ago, handed off to his son Kenny Wasserman, who has now handed it off to myself, David Marcus. For those of you that are regular out at the cemetery, if you notice, we have a garage door at the end on the left side of the chapel. At the time, the Tahars were done at the cemetery chapel. Later, when they opened the downtown facility, this wall was bricked up, and today is just windows. And from the past to the future, we've started on a new cemetery project in the north of Edmonton, just off St. Albert Trail. Fortunately, members of the Chevra Kadisha executive years ago had the foresight to purchase the raw land and hold it for us until such time we needed it. The footage you're looking at now was taken at the end of October 2022, and unfortunately the time has come when we need the property, which we hope to have an opening of the new cemetery this coming spring, where we'll have an open house and a cemetery consecration so that we could start to use this wonderful property. We still have space in the bare area for a new chapel. We still need to build a maintenance shed out there. But other than that, we will be hopefully ready to go for burials in the spring. We won't have a chapel right away. We're still in need of fundraising for that. But the setting of the cemetery is very pretty, very quiet. We've got trees surrounding most of the land, so it's very secluded, serene. We do have reserve land in the back of our property. Here we're moving into the cemetery. We have yet to establish a new front gate. The burial grounds are very nicely laid out with walkway, and there's much room for sponsorship in terms of pergola, seating, serenity gardens, etc. We will be having the same system as the old cemetery, where we put the grade beams in to put the headstones on, the monuments. The Edmonton Chevra Kadisha would like to thank wholeheartedly Real Mensch Productions for putting together this presentation we've seen this evening. So it all started at a Jewish colony in Pine Lake, Alberta. This Star of David is the last remaining artifact of that colony, which overlooks Blank Lake. And from unmarked buried graves of the folks there to our current cemetery, the Edmonton Chevra Kadisha has continued to look after your loved ones and friends and family. Moving forward into the next century, we have new property to be able to continue to serve the Edmonton Jewish community and know that we'll be there for them always into the future.